खत्म रसूल ऐ शाह रसूल शाह अंबिया शाह मदीना शाह मदीना चमका दे मेरा दिल दिल चमका दे मेरा दिल चमका दे मेरा दिल चमका दे मेरा दिल या रसूल अल्लाह चमका दे मेरा दिल चमक तुझसे पाते हैं सब पाने वाले चमक तुझसे पाते हैं सब पाने वाले मेरा दिल भी चमका दे चमकाने वाले
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in amma ba'd fa'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim bismillahir rahmanir rahim alladhi khalaqal mauta wal hayata liyabluwakum ayyukum ahsanu amala wa huwal azizul ghafur sadaqallahu azim إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا مولانا محمد وبارك وسلم وصل عليه السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. So always remember that verse, Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. That is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instructing us to pray salutations upon the beloved Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So if you hear this, then try and pray some salutations upon the beloved Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because Allah and His angels do accordingly as well. That's the verse what it's saying there. So I just want to touch upon something before we get onto the main core of the speech, inshallah. Today wasn't good weather, wasn't it? Nice, sunny. After a while we got some good weather. So what is good weather is a blessing from Allah, isn't it? So when we get the blessings from Allah in our lives, what do we tend to do? We tend to misuse that blessing and do it in a different way. So for example, we've got good weather. Normally on a Friday it is quite packed out. So now today we've got good weather. So what's happened is, with that blessing of good weather, people have missed the majalis. Now if you look at in our everyday lives, a person might be practicing. He's struggling in life, struggling to pay bills, struggling to make ends meet, working, and then suddenly Allah blesses him with money and business. But while he's struggling, he attends the majalises. While he's struggling, he says his prayers. While he's struggling, he tries to become close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But then Allah blesses him with money, with business. So he starts making money, starts making business. And then what happens? Slowly everything starts to disappear. Everything. And this happened at the time of the Prophet ﷺ as well. A companion, well, at that time he came and he asked Rasulullah ﷺ to make dua that he gets abundance of wealth. So he was attending regular majalises and everything, and as soon as the wealth started coming in, and the companion at that time, well, companion is a person who dies in that state of seeing the Prophet ﷺ and upon the deen. But this person wasn't in that situation. But the point I'm trying to make is, it disappeared. Again, we see this in our lives. Like for example, we're looking for a wife. We're making du'as, Allah grant us a wife, Allah grant us a house, grant us a car. As soon as that blessing comes, again the person disappears. So don't do this. Rather, you should be utilizing, so for example, Allah has blessed you that money, you should be utilizing that money to support the deen, to support and help the poor people, to help family members who are struggling with money. This is the way you should be utilizing the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah has made you healthy, give you energy. Allah has given you this mindset to come to the masjid, attend the gatherings. So these are very, very important points that we should. So again, remember, in your life, you will need something really bad. You will ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will give it to you, but don't utilize that blessing in the wrong way. And even utilizing that blessing in a haram way, which is even worse. Buying drugs, alcohol, or doing something wrong with that money, even wasting that money. Wasting that money beyond your means. Spending money and not thinking about the poor people in different countries, Africa, in Yemen. You know, think about them people that, you know, Allah subhanahu, they don't have as much as you. While you going spending 200, 300 pounds on designer clothes and stuff, think about them people. Utilize that money. Spend a little bit less and give some to them. Why not? You know, we should start thinking, our mindset should start changing. It's not about me. This is called nafsi, me. On the day of judgment, it's going to be the same, me. Everybody's running after, oh, can I have some of your good deeds? Oh, I only need one of your good deeds to enter into paradise. You've got so many. No, I'm not giving you anything. Everybody's running away from each other. Again, the same situation there. But if you benefit people here, then Allah will benefit you in this world and the hereafter as well. You know, and one of the solutions, that if you want something in your life that you don't have, you want something in your life, or you really want it but you don't have it, then do something for somebody else who attains that thing, that then Allah will bless you with that same thing in your life as well, inshallah. So anyway, as we all know, the hot topic, the month of Ramadan is coming, and next weekend it can't be Ramadan, Saturday, well, or Sunday. But are we prepared? Are we prepared for the month of Ramadan? Are we going to have the same robotic experiences that we have every single year? I'm going to fast, then I'm going to stay in bed, I'm going to play on my PS5, PS4 all day long, and then I'm going to break my fast, I'm going to eat all the samosas and the pakoras and everything and stuff my face, and then I'm going to go Tarawih, I'm going to start burping next to the person next to me. Then it's going to be time for Sahri. I'm just going to waste time talking, chilling with my mates, then time to say I'm going to eat, then I'm going to sleep all day long. Is that the way we want to spend our Ramadan? Because this is the norm. I mean, I did it as well. I'm not saying, I'm not pointing any fingers, but I used to do the same as well. Well, we used to play football in our days, but today it's a virtual football, isn't it, on the PS4 and the PS5. In our day, even though we were fasting, we used to play physically 2-3 games in the month of Ramadan. But we want to change something this year. We want to think, okay, what can I change this year? What can I improve this year that I didn't do last year? What can I do? How can I improve it? So next year and this year, then you add on to next year. So this year might be one of your best Ramadans. Then next year you add more onto it. You always progress. You never go on a decline. You always try to progress your Ramadan. So imagine, so this is just a scenario. Yeah. Imagine your mother gives you a bucket. It's a heavy bucket, but you can manage to carry it. But not that heavy, but enough to carry it. So she says to you, imagine you living in parts of the country where you don't have a tap, and you have to like open the tap. And today we've got water here anywhere, everywhere we go there's water, and the taps, filtered water. But imagine you living in that time where you don't have a tap. So say places like some parts of Africa today, they don't have that. Some parts of Yemen and other places like that. So you have to go, your mother tells you, here's the bucket. The well is about 4 miles there, and 4 miles back. So that's total 8 miles. And this is in real life situation, because when they fundraised, the Bug Welfare Trust, when they fundraised for Wells of Africa, this was the scenario that was happening in Africa. That women had to walk 4 miles or 5 miles for water, to fill the water up with a bucket and walk back the same distance. So this today, in this day and age, 2022, this is happening. So I'm just giving you a scenario. Imagine your mother tells you, go on son, go on my daughter, go and get some water. So he goes 4 miles, he's already tired, carrying the bucket, sweating away, hot weather, remember, not like cool like England, but hot weather. So imagine he's walking towards the well, and what happens is he gets the water. So he's filled his bucket, now he's walking back, the bucket is a bit more heavier. Then he reaches home, and the mother opens the top of the bucket and says, my son, there is no water in there. He says, oh, are you trying to joke with me? And she might even slap him or clout him. She says, no, I'm not lying to you. I did put the water in the bucket. I did put the water in the bucket. I'm not lying. Honest, I'm not lying. Then they inspect the bucket, and they see there's a small hole at the bottom of the bucket, and all the water's just trickled down. So there's no more water. So either he goes back another 8 miles, 4 back, or they rectify the hole in the bucket. Same way, we are doing the same thing. The month of Ramadan comes, we're fasting, we're worshipping Allah, we're praying the Taraweehs, but there's a hole in our worship. There's something that we are doing wrong that's nullifying everything that we are doing. There's so many different things that we can do, but inshallah I'm going to mention, there's 10 points. If I have time, I'm going to go through all 10 points. If not, maybe 5 or 6 points I'm going to mention. These are the things that will take you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, if you are doing these things, you need to rectify it straight away. You need to rectify this straight away. Otherwise, it doesn't matter how much worship you do, how much fasting you do, but that hole in the bucket, you're going to lose everything. Did they not tell you, like for example, that on the Day of Judgment, you might have Hajjs, Umrah, so many good deeds, but if you backbited somebody, then there's a whole queue of people waiting to take away your good deeds. Whole queue of people waiting. Isn't that everybody knows this? If you don't know it, now you know it. And backbiting is you say something about somebody behind their back which is true, and if it's not true, it's slander, which is even worse. Now, how many of us say things about not even thinking about it? We just open our mouths and we say negative things against another person. Throughout our lives, we've been brought up like this. But it's time that we change. We thought, okay, why should I give my deeds to this person? Do I not want to enter into Jannah? Do I not want to get the closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And this particular bad deed is emphasized in the Quran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions to the nearest meaning, would you like to eat the flesh of your dead brother? To the nearest meaning, in my own words, would you like to eat the flesh of your dead brother? So imagine a dead body was in the next room, and you were forced to eat that body, which is that we wouldn't even sit in the same room as the dead person, never mind eat the flesh of the dead person. And that simple way of backbiting, saying something, we don't even think, we just say it. We don't think before we speak, and before you know it, there you go, there you go. And in the past, the awliyas, they used to, when somebody used to backbite and they heard about this, they used to give them presents. You've done me a big favor, really, isn't it? Because you backbited, you're doing that other person a favor. So in this month, is this how you want to give your whole month to somebody else? You worship, okay, pray, tahajjud, everything. But again, you're giving everything away. There you go, there you go, there you go. So anyway, point number 1, inshallah. you might not remember all the points, but you will remember the points that you are doing yourself. So for example, say if I mention 10 points, out of the 10 points, 6, 7 of them you might not even be doing. So you don't need to focus on them, do you? But focus on the ones you're doing. So there might be 2, 3, or 2, 3. Do you know, one of the questions was asked to the mashaykhs about poor memory. What say we got poor memory? I can't remember anything, And the solution that was given to the nearest meeting was that if you fully paid attention, if you're already mentally, like you're physically present, if you're mentally present and you fully focused on what the speaker is saying, then it will go into your mind. So for example, if somebody's on the mobile phone and they're doing a task and somebody's speaking to them, how many of the conversation will this person remember? Hardly any, because he's focusing on, he's doing something, yeah, and then says, okay, what did I say? Oh, I can't remember. Why? Because his mind's there. So you need to be 100% focused, so that you fully focus on everything that's been said to you, so then you can take it. Your mind will be like a sponge and it will stay inside your memory, inshallah. So, point number 1, many people are doing amals and working hard, but there is corruption or wrong thoughts in their belief. So this is point number 1. So the practical solution to that is to go through the Aqidah, the 7 articles of faith. What is shirk, what is bid'ah, what is love, what is disrespect of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what is the quality of Allah, what is the status of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, also the Sahaba, the Awliyas, the Salihin, the world, the hereafter. These things are very, very important. These are articles of faith that a person, when he becomes a Muslim, he has to believe in this. Now, if there's anything corrupt in this, anything wrong, or anything is misunderstood, then that can take him not only out of the folds of Islam, but out of, further away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So one has to rectify this. And if you know it yourself, then make sure your kids know it as well, so they grow up knowing this as well. So go through it with them, go through it yourself. So if you're failing on the basic fundamentals of the deen, for example, you don't even know the ghusl, how many faraid of the ghusl are there, how to perform the ghusl correctly, how do I perform what breaks the ghusl, how can I make the wudu correctly. I remember personally, many, many years back, I went on Umrah, and there's a brother that came with me at that time. There's a whole group of us, and we did Umrah, everything. And then when we came back, I saw him in the masjid, and we were just making wudu together. And he missed out some of the faraid parts of wudu. I'm thinking that these brothers just done the Umrah. And then I asked him, I asked him nicely, and he says, I got taught like this in the masjid, but I think he must have misunderstood. But imagine that, if his wudu isn't correct, then all of his worship is not correct. If his ghusl isn't correct, all of his worship isn't correct. So this is where you have to, and people can't come on the Day of Judgment, because one of our blessed teacher once mentioned about this in their discourse. They said about people come, I didn't know, that you had to do it like this. I didn't know how, you have to make your wudu like this. I didn't know you have to do your ghusl like this. Well, it won't matter, because it is compulsory upon every believer to learn the basic fundamentals of the deen. So, for example, if you're going Hajj, Hajj is one of the pillars of Islam. You got to know. You can't just go on Hajj and thinking, I'm just going to do tawaf of the Kaaba or whatever. It doesn't work like that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put that there for you, so you learn. You learn about the rules of fasting. You're going to fast in the month of Ramadan. You have to know the rules of fasting. What breaks the fast? Why, if you accidentally drink water, you are asleep and you wake up and you accidentally drink the water, will your fast break or not break? So these are the things which are important that a person needs to learn. If he doesn't, then it will take him further away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The fiqh, number two, there's one is the fiqh that we mentioned, the fundamentals of the deen. The second part of is the fiqh of dealings. So for example, what is halal and what is haram? So for example, you say you're a businessman, say you're a barber, you're cutting hair. The income that is coming in is that, I'm not saying that the person gives you the money, but the way you utilize that money, the way you, like for example, you might be cutting hair, but you might not be showing full income to the government. Does that money become halal or haram? You're a taxi driver, you take people to pubs and clubs. This person sat in my car, I'm taking him somewhere, he wants to go there. Will this be halal or haram for me? So these are the things the person has to learn to his earnings, whether it's halal or haram. So people do side jobs. Does he need to show the side earnings that he's earning? He might have a main job where he's getting taxed, but then he has to think about the side jobs. He might be washing cars on the side and making £200 income. Does he need to show that income or not? So these are the things that person needs to, because even though a person might be doing mujahidah, might be doing everything, but if the income isn't halal, then it's going to affect this person. Not only it will affect this person, he's feeding his children haram as well. Now the clothes he's wearing is haram because he's bought the money, with the money he's bought the clothes. Now the children are eating food and they're disobeying their parents and say, oh, my son is not listening to me. I've done everything. I've put him into the best masjids, got him the best teacher. But he's still disobeying me. So if he's disobeying you or she's disobeying you, then look at the halal, the source of income. What are you feeding them? Another thing that they mentioned about the will. There's people, the Prophet ﷺ says, it does not befit a Muslim, a believer, that 2 days pass and he has not made a will. The angels are writing sins for nothing. Because you might have properties under you, you might have land. Everybody knows this. You speak to the elders, you speak to everybody. Even their own brothers have taken land away from the other brothers. Said this brother might be in England, the other brother might be in Pakistan, India, or Bangladesh, and they've taken, he's been here 10, 20, 30 years, or he thought that his land is safe over there, but then his own brother takes the land. His own brother takes the rights. His own family goes against him. And now the father isn't there because it was the father's property, so he's supposed to distribute it to everybody. The father's passed away. Now there's infighting between the brothers and the sisters. And this is the reason where, this person can be punished in the grave because of this. The father can be punished because of this, because of the fighting that has happened. And the companions would not sleep until, the companions, they would write their will and they'd keep it on the side of their bed. And they would not sleep until that will was there. So it's very, very important as parents, because everybody has a right over your wealth. Your children has a right over the wealth and so forth. So this is what it needs to be done, because when the person dies, the wealth might be distributed, the properties might be distributed, but it might be distributed to the law of the land and not the law of Islam. Then what's going to happen? So don't put yourself in that situation, or when I'm, lying on my deathbed, then I'll write a will. When I'm lying, how do you know you're gonna? Nobody knows when you're gonna die. You might die tomorrow. You might die tonight. You might die in the month of Ramadan. May Allah bless everybody, with this blessing, mashallah. Ramadan in blessed lands of Makkah and Medina, inshallah. But you don't know when you're gonna die. So you need to sort this out straight away. You need to rectify this straight away. If you're doing haram, get rid of the haram. Because you don't know when you're going to die. You don't know. There's no guarantee. Can anybody give guarantee? You're in this room right now that they're going to live by midnight tonight. Can anybody give that guarantee? Nobody. Nobody can give that guarantee. So that's why it has been mentioned in the hadith that some people be thrown in the hellfire without any reckoning and without any questioning because of situations like this. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned that these people who did not attain the compulsory knowledge, the faraid knowledge, not just knowledge about fiqh, aqidah, but knowledge about the dealings as well. So they made a complete mess of their lives and taken other people's rights unknowingly. So number 2, breaking ties with the creation. How many times we hear this all the time, or my uncle, my auntie, my brother, this, that, my friend, this, that, and they say something you don't like. It starts off with something very, very small, something very tiny. And then it just goes bigger and bigger and bigger, and eventually they're after killing each other. But when you get rid of that problem, when it's tiny, when you humble yourself and get rid of it, it'll go away. It'll go away. There's many, many cases like that. But Hazrat Abu Hurairah, there was a gathering like this. And Hazrat Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he did not make supplications. At that time there was a gathering, and he knew that there was something happening in this gathering, and I'll mention that thing. So one night, Thursday night gathering, Hazrat Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu said, I urge everyone who has broken ties of kingship to get up and leave us. So it was a Thursday gathering, and he mentioned this, that anybody who has broken ties to leave. So no one got up. Everybody sat there, nobody got up. Until he said it 3 times. 3 times. Then a young man got up, and he went to see his aunt. So he had not spoken to her for 2 years. So he went to see his aunt. And he said, when he entered, she said, "Oh, son of my brother, what brings you here today? You've not come for 2 years. All of a sudden, why have you come here? You've not been speaking to me. You've not been on good terms with me. Now you've come." He said, I heard Hazrat Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu say such and such. So he said, conveyed that to her. She said, go back to him and ask him why he said that. So now he goes back and he asks Hazrat Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, and he said, I heard the Prophet ﷺ said, the deeds of the sons of Adam are shown to Allah every Thursday evening, the night preceding Friday, and the deeds of the one who breaks the ties of kingship are not accepted. So we, in the month of Ramadan, we're going to make du'as to Allah. We're going to say, Allah grant me this, Allah grant me that, Allah help me, Allah grant me your closeness. And here you're doing the exact thing that the Prophet ﷺ has forbade you to do, where the du'as will not going to be accepted. Now if the other person has done something wrong to you, then it's a different scenario, but even then there's a solution for that as well. But we must humble yourself now and be the better person. Allah loves them people who humble themselves. It doesn't matter whether you're right or whether you're in the wrong. It's mentioned in one of the hadiths to the Nijmi, in my own words, that when two people are arguing, yeah, and this person is in the right, there's a person on the right, he's in the right, and this person is in the wrong, but he's giving it, and then said, the one in the right if he gives up his right, if he says, okay, that's fine, so he backs down and he says, you know what, that's fine, okay, if you want it your way, that's fine. If this person backs down, as we mentioned in the hadith, that this person will get, a place in paradise, a mansion in paradise in an affluent area. So how many mansions can we build every single day? Because in this day and age, in the year 2020, we're always arguing, we're always fighting, always arguing. So you say, okay, I'll just back down today, why not? Get something better in return, isn't it? So breaking ties is very, very important, and we must stop this. But the best thing is to avoid breaking ties. So avoid before it actually happens. So for example, everybody has different temperament, isn't it? Some people naturally, they're angry, they're always angry. Some people are gentle and soft. Learn about the nature of the other person, that if I say these certain things, he's going to get angry and he's going to create a rift between me and this person. So learn about the other person, what are they like? And don't press them buttons that's going to make them go angry and break ties with you. Prevention is better than cure. To prevent yourself from doing it. So for example, somebody falls into sin. He falls into sin. So did he not think beforehand that if I do this, I will go into this sin, then I will become addicted onto this, then these are the consequences of my addiction, which is going to affect not only me, but affect everybody that I know around me. Ask people who on cocaine addiction, their own mothers can't take it anymore, and they've told my son, you have to leave now. I can't handle this anymore. So prevention is always better than the cure. So another point here, point number 3, Sayyidina Abdul Aziz Dabagh rahimullah mentions, mashallah, some of the brothers are there now in Morocco at the Mazar of Sayyidina Abdul Aziz Dabagh with the blessed teacher as well. So that's why I'm giving the talk. So Sayyidina Abdul Aziz Dabagh rahimullah mentions that upon the people there are obligations, like qaza prayers, qaza fasts, qaza zakat, which are upon this person. And they're not offering this. They're not offering the rights which belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're not. And then it's saying, mention here that if a person goes to the mazar of a wali, or anywhere else, this person will go further away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No one won't get the closeness of Allah. Why? Because these are compulsory actions that he's supposed to rectify. But these compulsory actions, he's not rectifying, and he's doing nawafil things, voluntary things. Like for example, somebody doesn't pray 5 times prayer. Now 5 times prayer is compulsory upon everybody. They're not mentally ill or anything like this, So the obligation upon everybody, whether you like it or you don't like it. It's not a choice. They say, it's too hard. So doesn't Allah know what you can do and what you can't do? Are you saying that Allah knows, Allah SWT doesn't know that you can't pray 5 times prayer? Allah SWT doesn't know that you can't do 30 days of fasting. Why would Allah give you something that you cannot do? So Allah says in the Quran, Allah does not burden a person to what he cannot handle. So we can handle it. But the problem is our nas, and a little bit of whispering from the shaitan, we can't do it, it's too hard. And straight away we let it go, without thinking of the consequences. Now if you learn about the Faraiz prayers, and what would happen if you didn't pray it, what kind of punishment that the person would give, because the punishment is not in front of you, the person thinks, okay, I'm safe. But then when the person, everybody's going to die, then what? Then you'll see angels from floor to the heaven that tall. We have a scary, scary looking. You know, and even the angel of death, if you looked at the angel of death in its original form, you would die on the spot. That's how scary looking it can be. But for the believers, it comes in a different form, a beautiful form. So the compulsory actions, the qaza prayers, write it down. If you don't know how to calculate them, then speak to, there's many ustadhs here as well. Speak to any one of them. They'll help you how to calculate it. And then start. Your job is just to start. You might not finish them. You might not complete them, but you had the intention. So sometimes intentions are better than the actions. Sometimes intentions are better. And if the intention is sincere, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will fulfill this for you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive you for it. But if you've done something wrong, and you're saying, when you're not praying your qaza prayer, you're not even saying sorry. That's like when you start praying your qaza prayers, you're saying, well, Allah, I made a mistake in my past. I'm saying sorry and I want to rectify. It's no good like us change now and start praying 5 times prayers, but then you've got a whole load of baggage behind you that you're not even looking at. Whole load of baggage behind you. Some people have not done tawbah in the right way. There's 4 conditions of tawbah that person has to do. So I'll quickly go through that so that because this is a month of Ramadan is coming so soon. To be regretful and shameful for what one has done. So have that regret in your heart. Be ashamed in front of Allah that you have done something wrong. Immediately abandon that thing, abandon the sin that you're doing. Just let it go. And make a firm intention not to return to that sin. And number 4, which is very, very important, if you have violated the rights of Allah, the Prophet ﷺ and the creation, one must fulfill this in the manner according to the Sharia law. So he has to do this. He doesn't have a choice. Otherwise you'll be worshipping Allah and you think, oh, why am I not moving forward? Why am I not feeling that closeness to Allah? Why am I not getting, what others are getting? This is the reason. So one should reflect and check. Number 5, one of the barriers is people's bad behavior with the creation of Allah. So you see, like the mashaykhs have mentioned, that you see people with robes of piety, like they'll wear the jubbas, they'll wear the Amama Sharif, you'll see the cloaks on them. But when you deal with them, it's like dealing with the child of shaitan. Like dealing with the child of shaitan. So we don't want to be like this. We're not just talking about people with robes, we're talking about everybody. So anybody, like when you lend money to somebody and you say, brother, I'll give you back in 2 weeks' time, make sure you give it earlier before 2 weeks, not 2 years later. He's still asking for the money. Where's that money? Is this how you deal with people? When you borrow something of somebody, then you give it back in the same condition that he's given it to you. Not have it broken and then give back. When you make a deal with somebody, whether it's a business deal, then make sure you stay firm to what you said, not change it around afterwards. Or I can see better profit somewhere else, so I'm going to sell it to this person. So when you deal with the person, because actually you're dealing with the people, it's like indirectly you're dealing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this person. He's a servant of Allah as well. And when you do wrong to this person, it's like you're dealing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Hazrat Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala was asked a fatwa about a person who worshipped Allah day and night and was outstanding in what he was doing. So this person was worshipping Allah day and night, but his behavior is bad with his neighbors. He was not a good person. So you got to ask yourself, am I a good person? Am I a good person? Am I always hurting somebody? Am I always hurting my parents? You know, because like your parents might ask you to do something. You know, you eat, you sleep in the same house, and you leave your rubbish everywhere, expecting your parents to pick everything up, treating them like slaves and servants. You know, this is hurting somebody. This is bad behavior with your parents. And this is the worst thing that person can do. So anyway, Hazrat Abdullah ibn Abbas was asked about this, somebody who worships day and night, but he hurts people. So he said, in my opinion, that person is going to hell. He said, in his opinion, this person is going to hell because of his bad dealings. Then he was asked about another person. He just does the basic things, the farad prayers, the sunnah mu'akkadah and the wajib. That's it. It doesn't do any extra worship. But he or she is soft-hearted, sweet with the tongue, has good conduct with neighbors. He said, in his opinion, this person is a person of Jannah. So how have we understood Islam? You know, we got to ask the question to ourselves, do we really understand Islam properly? Or are we following Islam according to our own understanding of Islam? In the hadith, the beloved Messenger ﷺ mentioned that people with good character will attain higher status than people who have performed tahajjud and other things. So higher status in Jannah for this person who has good character. And he ﷺ mentioned that this will be the most heaviest thing on the scales on the Day of Judgment. So try to attain this good character. And how do you attain it? I don't know how to behave. Nobody's told me. My parents haven't told me. There's one way, you know, you can learn how to behave. And the best example of them all, just pick up the book of the Prophet ﷺ. And you learn everything, how to behave, how to do business, how to have good conduct, how to treat others, everything, how to speak, everything you learn. So why don't you make your character, copy and paste the character of the Prophet ﷺ into your life, and you'll see massive changes in your life. People want to be with you rather than they look at you and run away. So you look at some people, they say, oh my word, I don't want to be near him. I don't want to, oh, I hope she doesn't see me, you know. And they try to hide. You know why? Because when he's with the person, is such bad conduct that takes place that the person, his heart becomes dirty, you know, so the person's trying to stay away. You know, you get people who are constantly backbiting, and you're in that environment. This person is backbiting, and you're listening. Listening is a sin as well. The person's backbiting, and you're listening. Yeah, understand, yeah, that's right, yeah. You're even agreeing to the person who's backbiting. So all the sins are just coming from your ears, everything inside you coming in. So you can't reach everybody with money. If you want to help people, you can't reach, you're not a millionaire, you can't give everybody money, but you can extend your good character to everybody. Whoever you meet, you can, you know, give good character. It's like a never-ending treasure that you're always constantly giving. So we've probably gone past the time, but I'm just going to quickly touch upon the last 4 points. Yeah. So opposing the sunnah of the beloved Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, you know, people, the way acting upon the sunnah quickens the process. And some people, you know, they might see a sunnah and they might say things against it. You have to be very, very careful on this. Number 7, another barrier is to look at the opposite gender in a lustful manner. So this will stop you reaching the closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's been mentioned, there's so many points to make, honestly, but I'm just going to touch up on just one point only. It says, imagine a person, right? He's woke up in the middle of the night to become close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, woke up from his sleep to pray tahajjud prayer, he's worshipping Allah, he's made the dua, everything. So what happens? A special nur comes upon this person, special light comes upon this person. So this light helps him throughout the day. You know, the special connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Up until he looks at another person with lustful gaze, then all that nur just gets taken away. So imagine constantly looking at the opposite gender in a lustful manner. Imagine how much darkness, how much nur that we acquired has just gone, and all the darkness has been replaced with it. Number 8 is when somebody starts practicing, he wants quick results, or why am I not getting this, why am I not getting that? You know, your job is to worship Allah, even if you don't feel like it. Because if you worship Allah and you feel good, whatever, and then that feeling goes away and you don't worship Allah, then you were worshipping your own feelings rather than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You weren't sincere in worshipping Allah. Yeah? So imagine a servant gets told, oh, do this, do that. And if the servant says to his master, oh, I'll do it when I feel like it. If I don't feel like it, I'm not going to do it. Then what's going to happen? You're going to get slapped and say, you get out from here. You know, he's going to get sacked, really. But in the other countries, they even get beaten up. But there's so much to talk about on this subject alone. But number 9, another barrier is pretending, posing. We're not being sincere. So whatever we are outwardly, we are not the same inwardly. So inwardly, we are different to what we are outwardly. You know what I mean? That's the traits of a hypocrite. So you should, whatever you are inside should be outside as well. You know what I mean? Not differently. Sitting with these people, you behave differently, you talk differently. Sitting with that person, again, you say different things. And at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, this used to happen. The munafiqs used to do this. In front of the Prophet ﷺ, they would praise him, and behind his back, they would say something else. So be whatever whatever you are inwardly, be like that outwardly. Another barrier is when you have found the true path, you're not steadfast on it. You have found something very valuable, but you're not being steadfast on it. Now you know the truth, even then you're neglecting it. So there's so much to say on this as well, but there's not time. So just a quick summary. So the belief system one needs to rectify. Number 2, breaking ties with the creation. Number 3, the qaza prayers, fast, zakat. Number 4, they have not done the tawbah in the right way. Number 5, behaving badly with the creation. Number 6, opposing the sunnah of the beloved Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Number 7, looking at lustful gaze to the opposite gender, whether it's men or women or men, whatever. Number 8, you want quick results. You've prayed namaz, or now you want something to happen to you. You know, something special to happen to you. So you want quick results. Number 9, you're not the way you are inwardly, you're not the same outwardly. And number 10, when you have found the true path, you're not being steadfast on this. So I've just only really, to be honest, the first 5 points I really went through it in detail, but the other 5 points I just touched on it. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Jazakallah khair.
Alhamdulillah, Jazakallah to Ustadh Shabbir for enlightening us with all these points that have been mentioned that basically take a person away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and are blockages. So now that we know that they mentioned about 10 or so points, you know, that what take a person away from Allah comes back down to us. Now there should have been a thirst that created, that was the purpose of this majlis, of wanting to know how to get close to Allah. And in this very center there is a course which is taught, known as Tareeqah Muhammadiyah, self-purification course. This course is a practical methodology that takes a person step by step, day by day, you could say, closer and closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet ﷺ is taught under the mentorship of our teacher. So those Ustadhs are here as well today. So if anybody wants to meet them, they can meet those Ustadhs and learn how to start this journey. And if anybody who is already on this path, and like was mentioned on one of the last couple of points, was that knowing and not following is another issue as well. So if we have become stale, as they say, then this is the time that, as the Ustadh Shabbir was mentioning just before Ramadan, would be a good time to have your review and get back on the ladder, as they say, and save yourself from this free fall. Alhamdulillah, one announcement that we want to make is that we've got an event in Bradford over the weekend on Sunday, this Sunday, the 27th, I believe. It's Jamia Muhammadiyah BD3. It starts at 2 p.m, Urdu and English. So all brothers are encouraged to, inshallah, partake. Now we will be going into the zikr gathering. Inshallah, the zikr gathering, if you know, all the brothers, inshallah, could come a little bit closer, you can stand up and let some blood rush through your legs and come forward at the same time. Also refresh the 3 keys. Allah is with me, watching me, hearing me. Again, rectify your intention while we're here. It's a loud zikr, so here we follow the Ustadh leading the zikr, and inshallah, that's Jazakallah. So anybody who wants to know about the course of self-purification or wants to make an appointment with any of the
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم محمد سيد القونين والثقلين والفريقين من عرب ومن عجم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم محمد سيد القونين والثقلين والفريقين من عرب ومن عجم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم محمد سيد القونين والثقلين والفريقين من عرب ومن عجم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم محمد سيد القولين والثقلين والفريقين من عرب ومن عجم. فاعلم أنه لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. 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 الله 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 إلا الله محمد رسول الله. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو. عالم الغيب والشهادة. عالم الغيب والشهادة. عالم الغيب والشهادة. عالم الغيب والشهادة. هو الرحمن الرحيم. هو الرحمن الرحيم. هو الرحمن الرحيم. هو الرحمن 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 الرحيم 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 الرحيم. هو الرحمن الرحيم. هو الرحمن الرحيم. هو الرحمن الرحيم. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو. الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن. الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن. الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن. الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن. المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر. المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر. المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور 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 له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين 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 أنت 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 خير الرازقين أنت خير الرازقين أنت خير الرازقين أنت خير الرازقين رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين
شهر مدینہ یاد آیا ہے مدینہ یاد آیا ہے، وہ بھی اتنی رات گئے، عشق نبی میں دل گربا ہے، وہ بھی اتنی رات گئے۔ اللہ اللہ باغ عدن ہے اور معراج کا منظر ہے، اللہ اللہ باغ عدن ہے اور معراج کا منظر ہے، سارا زمانہ ٹھہر گیا ہے، سارا زمانہ ٹھہر گیا ہے، وہ بھی اتنی رات گئے، شہر مدینہ یاد آیا ہے، وہ بھی اتنی رات گئے، عشق نبی میں دل گربا ہے، وہ بھی اتنی رات گئے، بیت اللہ کے چوکھٹ پر ہے داست دعا پھیلائے نبی، بیت اللہ کے چوکھٹ پر ہے داست دعا پھیلائے نبی، رب سے عمر کو مانگ رہا ہے، رب سے عمر کو مانگ رہا ہے، وہ بھی اتنی رات گئے، شہر مدینہ یاد آیا ہے، وہ بھی اتنی رات گئے، عشق نبی میں دل گربا ہے، وہ بھی اتنی رات گئے، شہر مدینہ یاد آیا ہے، وہ بھی اتنی رات گئے، عشق نبی میں دل گربا ہے، وہ بھی اتنی رات گئے۔
کون مشکل کشا، کون حاجت روا،
یا 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 أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين يا ربي لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك نستغيث يا الله يا رحمن يا رحيم through your fazl, through your kindness, through your mercy, Ya Allah, whatever deeds we have done, Ya Allah, please accept this. Ya Allah, it's through your fazl that we have been able to do these deeds, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Ya Allah, whatever reward you have given us, Ya Allah, we would like to send this upon the beloved Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, upon the family of the Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, upon the parents of the Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, upon the companions of the Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, upon all the Mashayikhs, especially upon Sayyidina Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, Rahimahullah, Sayyidina Shaykh Abdul Aziz Dabagullah, and upon our Master, and upon the whole Ummah, and to the Day of Judgment, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Ya Allah, elevate the status of the beloved Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and the companions and the Mashayikhs, and especially our Master, our teacher, Hazrat Shaykh Ahmad Abba, Ya Rabbal Alameen, Ya Arhamar Rahimeen, Ya Maliki Yawmiddin, Ya Allah, guide us on the straight path, Ya Rabbal Alameen, enable us to do good and that pleases you, Ya Allah, enable us to stay away from haram things which displease you, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Ya Allah, forgive our sins, Ya Allah, forgive the sins of the whole Ummah, Ya Rabbal Alameen, Ya Allah, all the major and the minor sins that we have committed, Ya Allah, intentionally and unintentionally, Ya Allah, please forgive us. Ya Rabbal Alameen, the month of Ramadan is coming very close. Enable us to benefit from this month, Ya Allah. Grant us your mercy and your kindness and your generosity in this month, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Ya Allah, enable us to fulfill all the rights that we have not fulfilled, Ya Rabbal Alameen, especially which was mentioned on the 10 points, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Enable us to fulfill this. Grant us the strength, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Grant us the strength to do this, Ya Rabbal Alameen. If you've taken anybody's rights and hurt anybody, Ya Allah, please forgive us. Ya Allah, help all the people who have been oppressed in the world, Ya, wherever they are, Ya Allah, Palestine, Yemen, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, wherever they are, Ya Allah, and in Ukraine as well, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Help the people who have been oppressed and help the oppressors, Ya Allah, guide them onto the truth, Ya Allah, guide them onto the straight path, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Ya Allah, save us from the punishment of the grave and the hellfire, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Ya Allah, grant us your closeness, Ya Allah, and closeness to your beloved Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, closeness to the Mashayikhs. Enable us to walk upon the sunnah of the beloved Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, inwardly and outwardly, Ya Rabbal Alameen, Ya Arhamar Rahimeen. Ya Allah, anybody who is of ill health, Ya Allah, whether it's mental or physical, Ya Allah, grant them shifa, Ya Rabbal Alameen. وصلى الله على النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين آمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
I know I'm waiting for something to happen to me. But this waiting comes with trials and challenges. Nothing in life is free. My Lord, show me right.